Hello everyone, welcome to Vault VII, and for a lot of you, welcome back. This build is basically 5 years in the making, and if you're new and don't care about the lore that I'm about to get into, then you can skip ahead to the tour, but I recommend you don't. You should stick around, because it's juicy, and I'll make it quick. About 5 years ago, I built a vault in Fallout 4 based off of my Fallout-themed Discord server called Vault VII. The idea behind it was that each channel in the Discord would be represented by a room or area in the vault. A good example of this is that we had a general gaming channel where people could talk about anything video game related, so I built an arcade in the vault to represent it. You see? Pretty clever, right? Yeah. Not just looks. We got some brains too. Now this build was massive. It was like 6 stories tall. I had about 10 very talented people helping me build it. It took us like a year to make, and there was no idea that was off limits. We basically did whatever we want, all with the goal of turning it into a mod for you guys to download. And this is where our story takes a little bit of a turn. If you want all the details, I made a dedicated video a while back explaining the issues I was having turning this into a mod, but the short version of it is that it was just too big, which if I'm being honest, is a pretty common problem. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just that. The majority of the vault was built in the game, and there hasn't been an easy way to convert everything into a mod without requiring 30 plus mods that we used to build it all. So I was basically left with rebuilding everything in the creation kit individually by hand, which is like the equivalent of running a marathon and then having to stand right back up and do it again. I couldn't be asked. But with every year that has gone by and every video I've posted that is not the finished vault mod, it just continues to weigh on me, mainly because I said I was going to do it, and I haven't. And you know, at this point, it's been long enough. I owe it to you and everyone who helped me. You guys are still asking for it, so let's do it. So I just finished the first floor of the vault, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, in order to make this work as a mod, I'm having to re-envision it, because again, it was just too big. And really kind of crazy, like we didn't need all of that was in there before. So I'm making it smaller, but better. And keep in mind, everything that you see was built in the creation kit and is part of the mod. Nothing is being built in the game, because I'm not falling into that trap again. So the elevator now opens right into the atrium. Instead, it used to like wrap around, but now it opens right into the atrium. And you can see that this part is all pretty much the same as before. I'm still decorating and building up there, but down here, it's all pretty much the same. Except for the rooms. They are decorated a lot differently, and some have a different theme, which I will show you. But starting off, I added way more flowers and like shrubberies around here. I don't know, I just love it so much. Like once I added in this right here with the bush, I thought that looked awesome. I mean, who doesn't love a good bush? You know what I mean? I do. So I did it literally everywhere that I could possibly think of to do it. Like even back here with the benches, get out of here, right? And this one with like the flowers in it, come on. Tell me this isn't nice. We still have the posters that I made for each of the rules in the Discord server, which I love these so much because they're so on theme with the game, but they match so well to the rules that we had in the server. So I was very happy with these. Now these first rooms are still the bathrooms. I didn't really change these very much. I think I did like a little bit less decorations in here because I'm trying to conserve space for this whole thing. But we got the boys on the other side and the ladies over here. Still looks pretty nice, I would say. I mean, it's just a basic bathroom, you know? It works. And we still got the arcade over here. I've just decorated it a little bit differently. It's more like on theme with Nuka-cade, which I think makes sense for the game, you know? But I love like the change out here, like these little lights on the floor. I just thought that was really cool. And then this like little photo op opportunity with these guys. You know what I mean? I thought that could be fun. And then on the inside is where it gets really cool. Yeah, look at this. So I didn't want to use the arcade cabinets that I had last time because they're from a Creation Club mod. And I didn't want you guys to have to pay for anything extra outside of like the DLCs, you know what I mean? I feel like most people have the DLCs at this point, and if you don't, I highly recommend them. So I did use items from Nuka World, which I think fit way better in here than what I had in here before. And they work. Oh, look at this. So you can actually play and get tickets and stuff. And if you don't have tokens, you can come over here, get some pre-war money, throw it in here, and then you got some tokens. Look at that. Hey-o, look at this. Bam! Hell yeah. So a lot of fun. Another photo op here with these guys. And then over here is where we have like the star control checkout counter and where you can get your prizes. You know what I mean? Now, one thing you might notice is that it's not super crazy decorated like I usually do. And that's for a couple of reasons. The main one is that, one, I think it just looks better. Like, it looks more on theme with the game instead of having every ounce of the wall like filled up with stuff. You know what I mean? So I think it looks better. And two, I'm trying to be really conservative with the decorations as I continue to build this place up. So I'm starting small now just to make sure that I don't overbuild and cause issues like I've had in the past. So I'm going to revisit a lot of these rooms once I finish everything else. Now, across the way was a literal cordless VII merch shop. Like, literally. I had a merch shop channel in the Discord, so I was like, let's make a merch shop store. Hell yeah, let's put all of my merch on a poster and put them on the wall. Like, completely off the rails, but again, a lot of fun. It was a good time. But this time around, I decided to make it a barber shop, which I think makes a little bit more sense, right? Like, you know, this is what they would have in a vault. I could see this, you know? So I think this one is pretty heavily decorated. I might throw some stuff on the walls here. I don't know. But overall, I think it looks pretty cool. We got this little waiting area that has some magazines for us, you know? I thought it was fun. And right beside it is still the cafe, but I had to change it a good bit because most of the items that I used in the original build were, again, from the Creation Club, and I didn't want you guys to have to buy that. So I changed it up a good bit, but again, I still think it looks cool. It's kind of barren. I might throw some stuff on the walls, but I don't know, man. What do you guys think? I feel like if I add stuff to the walls, it's like unnecessary. Maybe I can add some more decorations over here, like in the counters and stuff like that, but I don't know. I started putting stuff up on the walls and it just seemed too cluttered just for the sake of clutter. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like an old man now and I'm like, no, it's too much. Make it cleaner, simpler. This is one of the rooms that I'm for sure going to revisit once I finish decorating everything to see if I can add in like a little bit more clutter. Yeah, maybe like over here. I don't know. What do you guys think? In the back, I actually changed this to a kitchen, which I think makes way more sense than the walk-in refrigerator that was just packed to the brim with like all sorts of decorations and clutter, you know? This just seems more believable, you know? It's just a kitchen where they make the food that they sell at the cafe. It makes sense to me, and it's smaller, but better. And then over here by the security office, this used to be like a, I don't know, it was like strength and conditioning room. I think the idea behind it was that in the server, we had a leveling system. And so this room was a representation of that, where we like monitored your strength, your perception, your endurance, like all of that, which I think was cool. But for this version of it, it felt like it made more sense to have an actual store. It's like this area, the main atrium was like the general area, the general chat, right? And so I wanted it to feel like it's kind of like the Wild West. So we have a store where they can buy whatever they want. Something like that. And this is where you can see I added a lot of clutter because it made sense for there to be a bunch of stuff in the store that they can sell. So this is one of those rooms where I was like, okay, let's just put as much in here as I want without being worried about the limitations. And the last room in this general area is this. It says observation, which I guess kind of makes sense. Originally what this was a room for our build challenges. So I hosted like monthly build challenges where the winner was featured on my channel. And so what I built before was like a big science fair type room where you see all these like little builds on tables and then like a voting area. And then the winner's circle was an actual movie theater where you saw like a video of the build that the people made. Something like that, which I thought was really cool, but I wanted to recreate it on theme with this version of the mod. So instead of having like a science fair type room, I just turned it into a movie theater, right? Like this makes sense to me, like something that this would actually be in a vault. Like I could see this in a way, but I'm still gonna have these areas where you could see like a little build that someone might have done, you know? So each of these windows is gonna have a different theme for each of these. This one isn't done. I was playing around to see if that actually looked cool, and I think it does. So I'm gonna like decorate each of these just to keep the spirit of the build challenges because I thought it was a lot of fun, you know? So this is the concessions where you get your tickets and your food and all that. And then here is the actual movie theater, which I had so much fun making this room. I mean, just look at it. I had so much fun making this. It's really important to me that I had like a stadium type seating with like the different levels, you know what I mean? And I think it came out really cool. I could even make them a little bit bigger. I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing with it, but I love the way that this came out. And this thing, this sign, I was so happy when I found this in the creation kit. It fits so well. And I love it so much. And these pillars, you know, it's just so cool. It's so much fun with this. And the last area to show you down here is the living quarters area. Now there's a little bit of history to this. You might have noticed that this bottom area is like kind of dirty and beat to shit. whereas the top part is not. That is very intentional. There is a reason for it. So we had about 5,000 people in the Discord server, which made my moderators very busy and a little resentful, you know? They refer to most of the members as demon children, which I'm sure you can understand why if you've been a part of any Discord server before. Looking back on it, it was just such a fun dynamic, so I wanted to lean into that with the build to where anywhere where the demon children were allowed is just a mess. Like, we can't have anything nice. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind when you see this next part. Over here is the living quarters for the quote-unquote demon children, which I thought Kitty Kingdom was an amazing sign to have above the door. All this graffiti, help us, we're dying. They're fine. They're okay. So back here is the living quarters. I'm still kind of decorating it. There's supposed to be like a Vault VII symbol right here, which I'm going to add, but it pretty much captures the vibe of what it was like. We have the ladies' living quarters right here, and then the guys over here. And across the way are the rules for the server just being like shoved down their throats. You know, it was just very fitting for the vibe of the server. And what you'll notice too, so like with the ladies, for example, we never really had a lot of issues with them. You know, they were more chill than some of our edgy edgelords that we had to deal with, you know? So I kept their theme a little more positive, like love and help us, you know, and rule breakers will be shot. A little more peaceful. I think there's a sign that says peace. Yes, peace and a heart, right? But still kind of a mess just to stay on theme, you know? But so this is the ladies' living quarters, and down the hall is the guys' living quarters, which already you can kind of tell the vibe. We got the pirate sign, we got some more graffiti, we have some literal whatever the hell this is outside the door. Yeah, this is why we can't have anything nice. And their room is not as different from the ladies, you know. We have them playing some D&D, which I thought was a lot of fun to make. Like, this is really cool to like put together. I wanted each bunk to have like a little bit of character, you know. So this one's for the children of Adam. We got model kits over here. This guy is just cool, just chill, you know what I mean? We got the baseball guy over here. So just a little bit of character for each one. And then over here, there was a few times where people wanted to quote unquote revolt against our moderators and the rules. So, you know, it happened every so often to where I figured it would be fun to have like a section for that. So over here, you see neutral zone, okay? And then you open the door and there's this secret hidden little area where they're planning their revolution. The revolution starts here, where they're gathering resources, right? So we got armor, we got weapons. They have their cute little map for their plans, as if this is actually going to work. You know what I mean? Which it never did. And this is supposed to be a picture of my cat Susan, so I gotta put that back on there. But you get the idea of this. I love how it looks like they just tore a hole in the wall and then just like had this like own little secret society. I don't know. I just think it's fun. They were a pain in the ass, but also kind of fun. So there we go. And then the last little bit is the bathroom over here, which I've changed it up a decent amount than what was here before. So we just have the other bathrooms with more graffiti. It's never too late to give up, you know? You suck. I just love the graffiti. I know I've said that, but it adds so much character to this whole section. And this side was the ladies. Again, nothing too crazy in here. And then over this way are the showers. I'm still decorating this a little bit. I want steam to come out, so I got to play around with that, but you get the idea. Just showers. But that's pretty much it for this video. I've already started decorating the second story, as you can see. I don't want to show you the rest of the vault. I kind of want it to be a surprise as I continue to work on it. So the next video will be of the second floor up here, and then we'll do the third, and so on until we're done. But thank you all so much for watching, and more importantly, thank you for bearing with me as I finally get this mod together. I'm very excited for it, and I hope you are too. But thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.